This conference will now be recorded.
Last session, we were discuss about the Django security, that is called authentication and authorization. Authentication is the process of checking whether user credentials like username and passwords are correct or not. If user entered correct username and password, so he will be given authentication ticket. So those who are having authentication ticket, that persons we can call it as authentication persons. So they can able to use the website. And all authenticated persons may not become authorized. So authorization means it's the process of checking whether authenticated user is having complete permission to access website content or not. Okay, yes. So now I'm showing Django authentication system. Already I discussed two applications uses internally. So what are the two application means in this project settings? Look at this in the settings.py. So already that applications are installed. Django.contrib.content types, Django.contrib.authentication type. These two applications internally use. And Django authentication system table is this one only. So now you can see this is auth underscore user and edit data. This is authentication table completely. So by default, this authentication table contain this data only. Now you can see here this user created. Okay, Sherry is the user, Mohan is the user. This admin user created one more user like Mohan only. So now let's start with the admin panel. Python space manage.py run server. Already we discussed in the last session how to provide permission to the user, particular user. Suppose here I'm just login as an admin person. So slash admin. Once you join as admin person, I'm just providing the username and password. So we can able to log in into admin person. Okay, yes. So next what I'm trying to do, I want to create a new user. So let's log out here. So this user is admin user. This user can create other users, and also this user can give permission to other users. So now you can see here Mohan user got permissions. So what permissions? Suppose here we need to give the permissions. This user can uh, delete. Okay, permission, this user can able to change the user, add the user, delete user, all the permission I'm selecting for this Mohan user, and click on this, and after that click on save it. Once save it, now you can see it's not saving because of there is a problem with password protection. So now you can see Mohan login, you can calculator 123. So no user is available here. So because it is going to be required to change the authentication system actually. So what can I do for this means I can change the password actually. Try to change the password for admin user. Okay. Previously what I created some admin user, or else we will go with a new super user clearly. Okay. Because this super user username and password is long back I created. It is saying for changing password actually. So the some permission denied exception messages are coming internal. So let's create super user. To create super user, you know that Python space manage.py create super user. Yes. So I'm giving super user name is just Durga. Mail option. Mail is optional, not compulsory. And password I'm giving same. Now say yes. Now you can see this user is super user now. So let's refresh this. This user is created or not? Super user. One super user is created. A new super user now. From now onwards, I'm going to use this admin panel and new super user through I'm logging. So once new user super user is login, the password you just used was found in in data breach, Google password manager recommendation, change your password. So why it is saying every time, this time it's showing warning actually. Okay. Now this super user can has to provide the permission actually. So to any user, but in the process of permission, now you can see this, it is going to be redirecting again Django administrator user. Okay. Yeah. Something went wrong in admin panel of Django. This is, you can see that password you adjusted was in data breach design. So it is asking to change the password. What can I do that? Password already there clearly. So I'm just providing permission through admin panel. Right now at this moment we cannot able to proceed for this because of it's saying something wrong. I'll try to give the permission anyway. Look at this. This is the way to give the permission. Okay, after giving the permission we have to save the changes, but the moment when I click on save, the problem occurred again. You can see this, it's saying like this only. It should not say like this. Okay, leave it about this administrative section. Okay, and I'm going to use this kind of Django permission and authentication with coding section only. So let's close this because we are not able to show you this time administrative account. So once issue will be resolved in administration account, then I'll show you clearly how to give permission with the admin panel also. Now let's focus on our coding part through how Django security will be provided. Means authentication form, user creation form, password change form, password reset form, all these things. So for this, I'm trying to create a new application. Python space manage.py start app. My application name is authentication app. This is application, sir. Python space manage.py start app authentication app. This authentication app I'm using right now. So after authentication app is created, go to settings.py, and under the installed apps, you can include authentication app. So I'm including here authentication app. In this authentication app, I'm trying to create a sign up page. So how to prepare sign up page means, already in the last lecture I discussed clearly. All Django authentication system related forms will come from authentication system location clearly. From that location, we have to manage our forms. So first let's go to view actually, view. But in this view, what I'm trying to do, I need to create one view, simple view I need to create. So that view name is def sign sign underscore up sign up view with current request only. But here I need to send one form object to the what we can say. I need to send one form object to template. Okay, so template means any other template. First, we need to create generally form class, but there is no forms.py. But even there is no forms.py, what we can do? So I need to collect the user creation form from which location? Django authentication system location. So from Django dot contrib dot auth dot forms import what form? User creation form. Already we discussed this user creation form will come from where? Django authentication system. This user creation form object I need to create. So here fm equals to user creation form object. Okay, and this form object I need to send it to template. So return render current request comma current request, and what is the template name you can create? Yeah, so you can create signup.html template. Into this HTML template I need to send the form object fm. So this is, so observe here generally In previous lecture, we created with our own form like forms.py class. But right now, I'm directly importing what's a user creation form, which is collecting from authentication system. For this user creation form, I just create object. This form object I'm sending into signup.html. But do you have any signup.html? No. Let's create signup.html template also. So in this template folder, right click on it and go to new signup.html form. Signup.html. In this signup.html form, what I'm trying to do, just form tag I'm preparing. So there is no form tag actually, but let me prepare that all form tag later. So directly I'm using form dot as underscore paragraph. So once we run this view, what is this view? Sign up view. Signup.html page will render. In this signup.html page, what I'm using? Form context key I'm using. Okay. Now how we can execute means we have to set the URL for this. So how to set the URL? Simply go to your project application level URLs. I'm trying to create a simple application level URLs. Now you can see Python file urls.py from django.urls import path from authentication app import views next URL patterns equals to path. Now you can see views dot what actually sign up view. This is a simple view. And this URLs I have to include into project level URLs. Let's try with this finally. So last application is cache app. Then I'm trying to work with our current application. So include the URL name is what actually authentication app dot URLs. URLs. Yes, fine. So project level URL setting, application level URL setting, and run the server. And once the moment when we start server, now you can see once we start the server, so we got this link. So now this time you can see this is called authentication forms, user creation form. Default by default username, password, password confirmation you are going to get. But there is no button and there is no form tag. Why? Because obviously Django form by default will not create any form tag, and by default it will not show any buttons. And what are these are actually these are just it is coming from Django administrative panel. Okay, by default this error labels are there. This labels also we need to stripe out. Stripe out means we have to remove when the form is loaded. So your password cannot be too similar to your old other personal information. Your password must contain at least 8 characters like this. Your password cannot be commonly used password. Your password cannot be entirely numeric like that. These are the warnings. This we can also remove that. How to remove that means simple. We have to go with what we can say uh, some label strip label strip tags we have to use. I'll show you how to use label strip tags. But just observe here, by default, when we go for user creation form, username, password, password confirmation only will come. But sir, if I want to provide in the user creation form more fields like username, first name, last name, these are all fields. If you want to create, then we can create your own form. This is by default what actually. So through this view, I'm sending that normal form object user creation form. It's a built-in form. This form is coming from authentication form section. But by default, this form will provide us only username, password confirmation, password only. These three fields only. But extra fields do you want? You can prepare your own form. How to prepare our own form in the sense we have to create forms.py file under your application. So right now I'm trying to create one forms.py file. So forms.py file. In this forms.py file, I'm trying to create our own form with our own fields. But actually, look at this in the view section. Already I created this user creation form object. But now you are coming with your own form, no? That's what you should not create object for this form. Now I'll show you in this forms.py what I'm implementing first. So you know already, all Django forms will be from Django. Okay, Django forms will come from where? Forms.py. For forms namespace. Okay, so let's see here, from Django import forms normally. So I'm creating my own class, that is sign up form I'm preparing. This is sign up form. But this sign up form should inherited from where? User creation form. But user creation form will come from where? Yes, user creation form will come from django dot contrib dot auth dot forms import user creation form. So now this user creation form, this sign up form is your own form class. It is inheriting from user creation form. So in this user creation form, I need to create based on model. Okay. So that's what model based? User model, because user model means this is the table, no? Auth underscore user table. So this model is coming from where? Again, from django.contrib dot. Okay. So auth dot models import what model? User model. So I need to create my own sign up form based on model user. That's what I'm preparing. Model equals to what model? User model. So what fields do you want? You can arrange that. Fields equals to these fields I want, sir. First username, next along with password confirmation. These fields also I need. First name, okay, last name. Look at this. Last name, email, email like this. Okay, this email, first name, last name, from where it is coming? Look at this. This is the built-in table against to authentication user edit data. So like this, these fields are there here. You can see these fields. So username, last name, first name, we are working with against this table only, sir. This table is called authentication table, user model table. That's what I'm using in the form section also. This user model, built-in model, model based form I'm preparing. Username, first name, last name, email like this. So now this form object we need to create. Where we need to create this sign up form object in the view section. Now you can see this is not required because already this is generated. This I used already in this forms.py, or form is generated from user creation form automatically. So now this, for this form we need to create object in the view section. But that form, how it will come? In the sense, authentication app is your application name dot forms.py import what is your form? Sign up form. So here we need to create object for what's are actually sign up form only. Look at this, S capital sign up form. So this is exactly how, okay, sign up form. So this form is rendering into signup.html. So now you can see this, when we start execution, you will get multiple fields of the form or not. Yes, multiple fields you will get. Look at this, username, first name, last name, email address, password confirm, all is coming because of I just included my own form, that is sign up form, and in this there is no form tag, there is no button. So let's create a button and form tag, all these things in this sign up.html. In the sign up.html, do you want to prepare form tag? Yes, we can prepare the form tag. How to prepare form tag? So form tag here, this is, sorry, this is HTML template form tag. In this form tag, just I can say method equal to post, no validate I'm taking because I don't want to perform any HTML validations. And the moment when we use post method, compulsory what is required, sir? CSRF token is required. In this CSRF token, so I need to give the button control also. Why? Because buttons are important. Input type equals to submit, name equals to what? Sorry, value equals to what? Actually, register. I need to go for register. So this is form creation. But sir, still we have a form tag and input type equal submit value equal to register. Okay, fine. Let's start the server, and we are getting clearly this. Info. Oh, what is that? Form is missing. So we have to use form. Now you can see this form I'm using. Form dot add underscore p. So once we use this one, what will happen? Other this all other script is coming. Now you can see this is called script tags. This is required to remove this also I need to remove, this also I need to remove. How to remove this additional these labels, error message labels, means there is a technique is there. Look at this, what is that technique? So I'm trying to remove this additional labels. So how it is required means using Django template language format for okay, for fm is a form object, loop variable in what actually form. So end for we can use first end for. In this we have to remove this completely label form label stripes. So fm dot label underscore tag. Okay, then your form object is what actually form. Okay, form object. Sorry, fm only. It is a loop variable. And after that, what I'm trying to do, fm dot errors. We have to strip tags. So errors strip tags is there. This is the template filter concept actually. This is errors, ERRO errors. So this is strip tags. Once we use strip tags, then I can go for BR break lines only. So now you can see these tags will be removed. So because of this code only, what code? These two lines of code for FM in form fm dot label underscore tag. Fm is a form object. Fm dot errors dot strip tags. Strip tags means automatically tags will be stripped. Automatically whatever the generated tags are there, no, that tags will be removed. Let's see this how it will be. So look at this. This form is clean form now. So username, first name, last name, email address, password confirmation. Now when I click on submit button, you can see nothing is there here. Even I have not written any code for this post mechanism, Yeah. So let's
Sir,
write code for this.
I have, I have
Tell me.
sir, in that open that forms.py file, sir.
Form start.
py file, sir. Same application.
Okay. So forms.py is there, no?
Yes, sir. In this, you have mentioned that fields username, first name, last name, and email. It is coming that form password and confirm password. How that, sir? I did not
How that
understand.
means? That's what I'm saying. How that means it is inherited from this form, no? User creation form.
Okay.
User creation
We
form by
cannot
default
access
will.
this form, sir. This you sorry that this model, sir. We are not working on this model, sir. So when will this model will work, sir?
So we are working with user model right now. This user model table is this one only here.
Yes, sir.
This model fields are username, last name, email, and many more fields are there. First name is there, password confirmation. Okay, password confirmation. That is under comes into Django authentication system. Because of my form is inherited from user creation form. By default, user creation form is coming from where authentication forms. In the
Authentication for
last
dot
note,
forms.
that forms are built-in forms are there. No, in that form, some fields are built-in fields. Password confirmation. Only
Okay.
this user creation form represent us only password confirmation username. More fields I want, so I can come with my own user table.
Sir, but you told that Django forms will not allow the buttons, right?
Buttons I didn't. Even the who said I created button here? By default, Django
Okay,
forms will not create button. It will not create any form tag also. I created this form tag and button.
okay, sir. Okay, but you
Hmm.
told now. Yes.
That's what still I am saying that Django will not create any buttons and all. I created in the template. Just now I have added this one. This form tag also I have added. It's not come by default. Only Django form will be render form object only. What we created forms.py. This form object we have to render this fm equals to fm form dot fm.
Okay, sir.
I created buttons. Automatically it's not coming. So these are the fields which I want to display using sign up form. This sign up form I am creating object for object into view section only. Look at this. Previously, I just created object for directly user creation form here, but that shows for me only username and password confirmation. I need more extra fields, so that's what I just prepare my form in the forms.py. This form is inherited from user creation form, and I'm creating this form based on model against to user model. User model means authentication user table. In this table, username, first name, last name, email, extra fields also I'm taking. Finally, whenever we create a new register person, that registered person details will come and stored into this table, sir. Okay, this all users I created directly by going to Django admin panel, but I'm not going to use admin panel. I'm going to use coding part. How to registration uh, details we need to enter in registration form, and after registration completed, same with username and password, you have to create login form, change password form, all these things. But first of all, registration we have to provide. That is called sign up form. Now this form is rendering us, but we are not saving any data to the this table only. To save the data to the table, we need to go with post mechanism. Yes, obviously this is post mechanism only. Look at this. The method is post, no validate is there. Let's go for same posting data into this sign up view only. So in this sign up view, I'm writing post mechanism data here. How to write post mechanism data means here I need to write code again, same code. If if request dot method equal to post. Same code what we discussed in previous lecture. We need to create form object here. Fm equals to sign up form is a form class. Okay, request dot post only in this bracket. So request dot post. Fm equals to sign up form request dot post. And how it will be stored the data means after form valid only. If fm dot is valid is a method. In this method, I'm showing messages framework. So do you want to use messages framework also? No, we cannot use extend attribute in inherited from template. Okay, template inheritance, that is. Template inheritance difference and form inheritance is different. In template inheritance, we use extend on the top of HTML page. Now coming to this
Okay,
is
thank you.
valid. Yeah, is valid method. After is valid, I need to display some messages. So messages framework also I'm including. You know already messages framework in Django point of view. From Django dot contrib import messages. So what message do you want to display after form is submitted successfully means messages dot success user creation successfully for current request. For current request, I'm creating user creation successfully. User creation successfully, I can say that. If fm dot is valid, form dot is valid. Then after that, what I'm trying to do, save this form. First, actually, we have to save this. Fm dot save method I'm taking. After that, I have to do. In case if user is not entered correct details in the sign up form, then else block, what I need to do, I need to go for messages again. Messages dot info current request. Okay, so I can say that please enter valid details in the else block. And this is totally when request dot method equal to post, this code should be executed. If request dot method equal to not post, then what code should I execute? Then else block, I need to create empty form object. Fm equals to sign up form, an empty form first. So this is actually need to be saving the data into database. What data? User data. Whatever user is entering. Right now you can see authentication underscore user table is having what information? Only three details informations are there. Username, Sherry, Mohan and Durga. But I can go with other username because I have already created my sign up form here. And I'm accepting this values from the template also. In the template, whenever after entering all the details, when we hit this register button, immediately post mechanism. Immediately this post mechanism through, we are executing what's our sign up view. So request dot method equal to post. The sign up view, it's going to show that form first, empty form. After that, it is post request, sign up form object I created. If form is valid, fm.save. Otherwise, please enter the valid details only. Let's see this how it will work now. Now you can see I'm not entering any details here. Click on register. So here you can see this field is required, this field is required, this field is required. It is coming. Okay. So, but one thing you can notice, sir, you have provided some message from the code, but why messages is not coming? Because you have not included in the signup.html messages related code. You know how to use messages related code. Once we use messages framework in the coding part, so obviously messages related code is mandatory. How to write messages related code means simple. If messages, okay, and if. Now here I am taking for loop, open bracket, close bracket, for message in messages, open and close, message and for. So now this time we can see because of this code only, the messages, whatever it is coming from view section, that message is going to be display here only. Okay. Let's see. Previously it was not, but this time you can see it is display the message. Even when we don't submit any values, also it will see this. Oh, template syntax error is there. There is a problem. Uh, yeah, end for is something wrong. For message in messages, if messages, okay.
Not end for sir. That message brackets are double curly braces. That message.
Yeah. This is correct. The output actually, it's my mistake.
Ah, yes.
Correct. Now this time you can see I'm not entering any data, but click on register. Now you can see along with this built-in validation fields, you see here, please enter the valid details only. That means we have not saved any data into this authentication user. Look at this, these users already created with admin panel. But now I am going to refresh this page. So now this time you can see this, I'm entering new user details. The username is Sai, first name Sai, last name just Kumar I'm taking, email address sai@gmail.com, and password I'm taking just like this. I'm giving password mohan at the rate of 123. Now this is password details are confirmed, registered after successfully. Now you can see user creation successful. This means registration form, how to prepare this is. So registration form through I prepared, I entered the details. I have created one user, and let's refresh. These details are available into which this user table only. Look at this. Sai Kumar sai@gmail.com. This user is created. Okay, all this clearly available. First name is active user sai@gmail.com. Last name like this. Okay, password also there. So once you prepare like this authentication system, like registration form, then next time what we need to do, using same details, we need to prepare what login form, means authentication form. Authentication means this username and password, if you entered correctly, then we can go for authentication system. But how to prepare authentication form? Yes, again we need to go for next view section. In that authentication system, we have to go with the login form creation. But once login form created, after successfully user logged in, where it should be redirect means profile page. Profile page also required. Okay, so let's go to in the view section. I'm going to continue with the login form now. How to prepare login form? So we created sign up form which is coming from authentication app. In this authentication app, this sign up form also coming from what user creation form, but in this view section I'm trying to create login form. So Django login form is authentication form. How we will get authentication form? In the sense, simple, from django dot contrib dot auth dot forms dot What is the form name? Authentication form. Why this is authentication form is required? Because authentication form it is a class. This is called login form, we can call it as. So next, after authentication, user is authenticated or not, how to do this? Simple. There is a authentication mechanisms are there again. So let's go for from django dot untrip dot auth import authenticate. Look at this. Authenticate is there. Login is there. Logout also there. Logout, I'll speak about logout later. But let's finish this authenticate and login today. So authentication form I'm preparing. So we need to create object for what's our authentication form object we need to create here. But whether user entered details are correct or not, who will check means this authenticate will check. Authenticate class will check user is authenticated or not. Login means it will be provide login successfully. So let's create a view here. How to create a view? Let's create a view here. In this view I'm preparing def. So I'm preparing the view what we actually authentication view, login view. So my view name is user underscore login. I'm preparing current request only. Okay, user underscore. Here I have to write if request dot method equal to post. If request dot method equal to post. Okay, then I need to create object for what object? Form object. Which form? Authentication form. Okay, in this authentication form, two things are required, sir. One is request attribute is the request equals to current request, and one more is data equals to request dot data. Data attribute is there here. This is very important. These two are compulsory. Which data, whatever user is entered the data in the authentication form, that username and password, that is called data. Data equal to request dot post data. Request dot post. FM is created form object. So next, if FM dot is valid, fm dot is valid. What form? Authentication form. I need to collect uname, username. Fm dot cleaned data attribute is there. We are collecting this username by using cleaned data attribute through username, which is entered by the user in the authentication form. Pwd equals to fm dot cleaned data. Okay, password also I'm collecting. So once we collect this username and password from the form, that will stored into a uname and pwd. This we have to check these are correct or not. So I'm taking one object, user object, who is there to check this. Authenticate class is there, and this is object of authentication. So authenticate class. This authenticate class is coming from where, sir? This is. So this authenticate class is used to check whether user credentials are correct or not. In this authenticate class, just I'm processing username. Okay, user name equals to what? Uname. Uname is coming from where? Form. Password equals to coming from where? What is coming? Pwd. So this uname, which is collecting from the form by using cleaned data attribute. This pwd again, which is collecting from the form. And now you can see username equals to uname, password equals to pwd. User is there here. This is user. This user is authenticated or not. Who will check? This authenticate class will check. So how it is checking means, look at this. If user is not none, user is not none means some user is there. So if user is not none, I need to provide login directly. Okay, login directly for current request, comma, current user. Current user. Current user means this user only here. User. This is login. If user is not none. In case after login successfully, where do you want to return directly? Look at this. Return HTTP response redirect. So HTTP response redirect is not coming. How it is coming? HTTP response redirect here. HTTP response redirect I have to use. Why HTTP response redirect means after login successfully, I need to send them into profile page. So that's what I'm using. Profile. This profile page also I have to create later. Profile view also have to create. So once user is logged in successfully, he should go to profile page. If user is not logged in successfully, suppose user is not correctly entered username and password. So what should I do here? Else block I have to do this. Messages dot info current request. Okay. So invalid username or password. I have to say that invalid username or password. Okay. If user is not correct, invalid username and password. Invalid username or password. Sorry. User is not none. If user is none, I have to say invalid username. Oh no. If fm dot is valid is okay. Otherwise, I have to say invalid username. Okay, fine. This is okay. Next, what should I do here? Finally, if total if request dot method equal post, this is only. Else block, I have to say empty form object. I have to create authentication form. This I have to render into where return render current request. And coming to this here, what form we have to prepare? Login.html. Login.html page I have to prepare. This I have to render. In this login.html page, we have to go for form fm object. So let's prepare login.html template also. Login.html template. This login.html template, just I have to prepare. What I have to prepare? Messages, method is post, all these things. Same logic I'm going to follow. Just observe here. This form tag I'm going to copy this previously what I included. Let's paste into login.html also. Repeated code that is. But only here login I have to use. Name of the page is login. Remaining things same sir. No changes. Okay, login. This is login. I have to go with profile page also. Yes, profile page. So profile page means once user is logged in successfully, I need to display to what? Profile page only. So that's what we mentioned profile. So that's the reason we need to prepare one more view also, that is called profile view. Profile view from current request. PF profile request. This is one more view I'm preparing. Profile view. So when user need to be visit into profile page, only authenticated users only can able to redirect to profile page. So that's what I'm writing here. If request dot user dot request dot user dot is authenticated method is there, who is having user ID and password, that persons are authenticated persons. Only authenticated users only can return this profile page. Return render current request. Now you can see profile.html. Profile.html. Now I'm going to send into profile.html page one name also. This is context. Which name? Whoever logged in, that name I want to display over there. If request.user.is is authenticated, this is only. Else block. Else block. Again, I have to go for if not currently user is not correct request not authenticated user. I have to go for return HTTP response redirect login page only. So profile page user cannot directly join with profile page. Okay, user can only join with the after authenticated only. If user is not authenticated, he should go with authentication purpose login redirection only here. So this is profile page. Let's go for mm, these two views I need to execute. First, profile.html form I need to prepare. So let's prepare profile.html. In this profile.html, what I need to collect? Just to collect this profile.html page. What is that? Only profile page. For just clarity, I'm giving profile page I'm including. In this profile page, whoever logged in, that username also need to be displayed. So that's what I'm taking. Welcome. That username is what? Name. This name is coming from where? Here, this name value is what? Requested user. Who is requesting this? So now this time you can see I'm trying to do name colon request dot user only. Fine. After this, we have to set the URLs. What URLs? Go to URL section, and here you can see this. I'm trying to give URL names, sign up. Next, what I'm taking path, login is there, slash views dot what actually login, user login. Next, what I'm taking path, profile also I'm taking profile slash views dot profile. That's it. So once we start the server, now you can see already I have username and password with me, registration details purpose. Now click on login. It is required to go with sign up. But let's go for sign up. Sign up is not required because of already I have registered. Let's go for sign up form. I don't want to go for sign up directly. I can go for login. Now you can see login. So username and password. If I don't enter username and password, this field is required. This field is required is saying. Okay. But look at this, the messages is not coming. Why? Because invalid username and password is not available. Why? Because we have not included this messages framework code also into this login.html. Oh, login.html, we have included messages framework. But why this message is not coming whenever its request is not post method? Look at this in the view section. This is empty form. Okay. Post method after what actually, if form is valid, this code is required. Okay. If the form is not valid, I have not written any messages. If username and password is not correct, I have written completely message here. Okay. So this else should be like this only. This else should be like this. Okay. Here what I have to do, please enter the details. I can say that. Please enter the details. If user is wrong, this I have to go with else block here. Okay, messages dot info current request. Now you can see invalid username or password. So I have to check the indentation level all the way. Now let's see, restart the server. Start it now. Observe carefully now. I'm going to use directly login form. You can also use dynamic URL section also, not a problem. Username, password I'm not entering. Look at this. Please enter the valid details. If I entered username and password, username is correct. Password is I'm not going to enter wrong password I'm giving. Now you can see click on login. Again, this is what it is showing. Please enter the details only here. But actually here you can see once I use login form, now username something wrong I'm giving, password also something wrong I'm giving. So page is refreshing. Now you can see this time please enter the valid details only decide. Why it is? Because username and password is not correctly checking. No? Yes. Why it is? Please enter the values else block only if form is valid. So actually after form is valid, user is not none, something user is there, profile page have to use. If user is not correct, so we have to enter the details like this. What details? Please enter the details or valid details. Have to say that. Better to go for this is enter valid details. This else is not at all required us. Yes. Let's go for. So I'm trying to go with the correct username and password. Okay, username is correct. Password is, now you can see the user is going to be landed into profile page. So bool object is not callable. Line number 38 views.py. There is something wrong. Line number 38. We'll see this. If user is authenticated request profile page, we have to go with this. Let me check. No problem. If request.user. Is authenticated, return render request profile.html name request.user. Uh, that the URL names are required. Let's go for here. Name equals to, yeah, this name is not required. I think profile is required because it can identify the name with this profile. Let's try with this. Oh, again it is saying bool object is not callable at line number 38. What is this? Let's go for line number 38. Yeah, sorry, this is not a method, sir. It's my mistake actually. Look at this. It's not a method. Simple brackets are missing. Now it will work now. It's my mistake. Now this time you can see username, password I am entering correctly. Now profile page is coming. Profile page, welcome Sayo. Here. Whoever logged in, that person is going to be joined with profile page. These names are not required actually because these names just I'm giving for future purpose. Later we will include this name also. Whenever we are using dynamic URL, using this name through, it will redirect to concern page only. Login form, sign up form, profile form like this. So this is sign up, registration. After registration, login. After login successfully, view profile. If login is not successfully, then you can see user sometimes entered some wrong details. Okay, so user is not going to enter proper details. Suppose here you can see login, I'm taking slash login. Wanted I'm giving wrong details. Junk data I'm giving here. So now click on login. This page is please enter valid details like that. So this is against to user table. Still we have, it's not finished application. This authentication app is not at all finished so far. Still we have to discuss more logical things. Profile page, login, sign up, log out, change password. Once we build complete application, then you will get clarity. You can understand the flow also, what's going to happen here. But in this session, I just shown authentication form, that is login form, and user creation form, that is sign up form. In tomorrow's session, we'll go for how to user logout and password changing with old password, without old password. Once that two things, if we inject here, total complete application will be clear. So that step by step, we can go through this. First, user creation, login, after
Sir,
login profile page, uh, profile after change password or change password without old password. Tell me, Mr. Chakravarti.
sir, you have used that name one attribute in that path. In
Hmm.
using that name also, we can redirect from one page to another page also, sir.
Exactly, exactly. That things I am going to explain in tomorrow session. Why? Because if you are going to sign up form is going to display, no?
Yes, sir.
So user already having account, then we will provide them directly go to login by clicking on link only. So there we will provide link only, dynamic URL link.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
The link, the moment when user click on link here login, direct it will go to URL. The URL name login is there, no, name equal to login. Using that name, it can open login form. That I will show you. That's the
Sir,
purpose I included names.
once
Tell
open
me.
that you use that PVS sir.
Okay,
You
tell me.
use that. Sir, how that request is storing that user sir in this that login, not login, this what
Profile.
profile.
That's what
Request
whoever
update
logged
user.
in. See, whoever logged in, that logged in details we are sending here. You can see profile dot
Okay.
name dot name equal to request dot user.
Okay. Sir, if we log out means that user details will be vanished, sir, like deleted, sir.
Exactly. If you log out means user details should be deleted from session. And again, after logout only, when user is attempting to directly profile page will not open. It will go for redirect login back only because only authenticated users only should view the profile page.
Okay. Thank you.
That also will be discussed in tomorrow.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.